Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint were great in the Harry Potter movies, but how was each Gryffindor meant to look according to the books? That's exactly what we'll be finding out in today's video. The first Harry Potter movie was released nearly 2 decades ago, which means there's a generation of fans who grew up with Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint imprinted on their minds even when they were first introduced to Harry, Ron, and Hermione in J.K. Rowling's original novels. For each reader, they had to create the characters in their mind and could work from the descriptions on the page, but when it came to the big screen, it sure did take a lot to bring those characters to life. So how did the casting directors do when picking their Gryffindors? Let's see.
Right. Okay. Gryffindor!
13. Minerva McGonagall. Who else is better to start a Gryffindor list aside from the head of house? When Maggie Smith was first introduced as Minerva McGonagall in the movie series, she was 56 years old, but the character of Minerva in the book was a lot younger, making Maggie an inaccurate representation of the character. Age is just a number though, and Maggie did an amazing job portraying her.
Professor McGonagall, this stranger's done it again! Shame on the Hunter Slytherin! 100 points!
12. Sirius Black. Also a Gryffindor alongside Remus and James Potter, the character of Sirius Black was known for having a tough life after his best friend James Potter passed away. Because of this, he had a sick, almost corpse-like appearance. Gary Oldman nailed the disheveled part of Sirius, but he lacked the mass of filthy, matted hair, sunken eyes, waxy skin, and corpse-like appearance that the book version was described as having.
You look so like your father.
That I got to spend so much time with James and Lily and you so little.
11. Remus Lupin. Remus was a Gryffindor during his Hogwarts days, and David Thewlis really did an awesome job portraying the werewolf Remus Lupin. Sadly though, he didn't quite get the full worn out look down. The book version of Lupin was described as being extremely shabby with a patchy beaten up robe. He was also always ill looking and extremely exhausted with grey flecks in his hair even though he was quite young.
One day, he'll understand.
10. Albus Dumbledore. Well, yeah, Hogwarts' most loved headmaster was once a Gryffindor during his Hogwarts days. The part of Dumbledore was played by 2 different actors, Richard Harris for the first 2 movies and Michael Gambon for the rest. Richard was an amazing representation of the great Dumbledore. Sadly, he passed away after the second movie though. Michael Gambon, although an amazing actor, was missing some key aspects for the character, the half-moon glasses and blue eyes.
I instructed Harry to form this organization, and I alone am responsible for its activity.
9. Parvati Patil. The last of the Gryffindors in the same year as Harry Potter, Parvati has a twin sister, Padma, who, in the books, is a Ravenclaw. They are described as being identical, with long dark hair worn in a plait. They were supposedly the prettiest girls in the year. In the movies, both Patil twins are in Gryffindor, and they are not identical. They are portrayed by Shefali Chowdhury and Afshan Azad. 8. Lavender Brown. There were 5 boys in Harry's year who were also Gryffindors. They were 3 Gryffindor girls, including Hermione. Lavender Brown was only said to be a pure blood witch in the books. This left her look open to almost any actress when it came to filming the movies. Brown was portrayed by Jennifer Smith, Kathleen Colley, and Jessie Cave on screen. This means that Lavender has been portrayed as both a black student as well as a white one, leading to some controversy in the Harry Potter fandom.
Strange.
7. Dean Thomas. Dean Thomas, the last of the 5 Gryffindor boys in Harry's year at Hogwarts to make it onto this list, was played by Alfie Enoch in all the Harry Potter films. Dean lacked much of a description in the first Harry Potter novel. When it was released in Britain, however, he was described as a black Londoner. In the American edition published by Scholastic in 1998, Dean had a much larger description and backstory that was later cut from the novels. 6. Seamus Finnegan. Seamus, one of the 5 Gryffindor boys in Harry's year at Hogwarts, was described in the books as having sandy-colored hair and being Irish. Devon Murray certainly had the Irish accent to go with Seamus' background, but he lacked the proper hair coloring specified by J.K. Rowling in one book. Seamus would go on to divide his fellow Gryffindors in the 5th movie by believing the lies in the Daily Prophet. 5. Neville Longbottom. Matthew Lewis made an adorable Neville Longbottom. He was shy, nervous, and clumsy, 3 traits that both the movies and the book version of Neville had.
I'll fight you.
They were just 3 things the movie version of Neville did differently than the books. Neville was described as a round-faced boy, a short plump as well as blonde. He doesn't have quite the glow-up that Matthew Lewis did on screen, but Neville does grow into himself as the book goes on.
Don't be such a wimp, Longbottom.
Okay.
4. Ginny Weasley. Bonnie Wright is a beautiful woman, and she did an amazing job playing the youngest of the Weasley clan. Ginny Weasley, unfortunately, she didn't quite match up with the image J.K. Rowling wanted Ginny to look like. Her hair in Sorcerer's Stone was shorter than the long mane of red hair described on the page. She often had a determined look that made her look very related to both Fred and George. Bonnie liked her on-screen brothers, who lacked the telltale Weasley freckles on her face.
A variety of opponents. Fantastic, Ginny!
3. Ron Weasley. Rupert Grint did in fact have the natural red hair of the Weasley family.
Red hair and a hand-me-down robe.
But aside from that, he looked very little like the Ron originally described by Rowling. In fact, it was Rupert's on-screen brothers, Fred and George Weasley, who looked more like the Ron described on the page. Ron is supposed to be tall and gangly. He should have more freckles, as well as a long nose with large hands and feet. 2. Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe certainly spotted the dark hair of J.K. Rowling's boy wizard. He was small, skinny, and of course wore the round spectacles. But he wasn't perfect. Except for the 3rd Harry Potter film, Harry's hair is never as messy as it originally described. Dan also lacked the green eyes of Harry and Lily Potter. Though green contact lenses were attempted before being discarded, he wasn't as undernourished as the thin-faced Harry of the books. But that was a good choice by his parents. 1. Hermione Granger. It's hard to separate Hermione and Emma Watson these days. The actress is brilliant and a crusader for women's rights. A real-life Hermione, if there ever was one. But she doesn't match the original description of her character perfectly. Her hair was curly but never quite as frizzy and untamable as it is in the novels. Emma and Hermione both had brown eyes, but Hermione had protruding front teeth, which, again, were tested on Watson before being discarded like Daniel's contact lenses.
That's totally barbaric.
What are your thoughts and which one of them is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments.